So another great benefit of the transfer model inverters when it comes to fault finding is that remote display screen. That screen not only shows you the functionality, any voltages, but it does also come up with the error codes. These are displayed in the way of an E0 something or other code. So what do those E0 codes mean? Let's take a look at them one by one. So to start off with, we've got the E01. This is quite a common one that appears on the screen. This will be that when the unit is operating as an inverter, that the battery voltage is too low and therefore the inverter is shut off. Now this can obviously be you're flattening your lithium batteries, or it may be that you're running it from an AGM or a lead acid battery, and they do tend to collapse their voltage. So again, to rectify that type of fault is to put a charging source on or to reduce your actually load on the inverter, which will increase the voltage. So E01, low voltage, and the inverter has actually shut off. The next one, E02. Input voltage is too high and the unit has shut down. Not all that often this one occurs, but if it does, you're looking at an issue with one of your charging sources, maybe a solar regulator, maybe an AC powered charger, for example. So E02 is high voltage and the unit has shut down. E03, now that is for the AC output is overloaded and the unit has actually shut down. So again, to rectify that type of issue is take it a little bit easier on the inverter. Reduce some of the load, so don't try and run an air conditioning unit and an induction cooktop at the same time. E04, now that one there is for the internal temperature is too high and the unit has shut down. Few ones that this could occur is you're in a hot ambient area, for example, out in the middle of Australia, and you've been working that inverter hard. So what is ways to rectify that fault? One, shut the inverter down, allow it to cool for 15 minutes. Whilst it's cooling down, just ensure you've got adequate airflow around it. Now we're always looking for extra storage on a four-wheel drive caravan, boat, for example. But just locate your inverter, make sure there is airflow around all sides of it. So that's how to rectify the E04. E05 alarm is for the input battery voltage is low. However, it's only a warning. So normally the sequence of events that you'll see, the E05 will occur, allowing you to have time to rectify, get a charging source on or reduce your load. So E05, low voltage warning. If you don't do anything, that is normally when E01 will occur, which will be the low voltage shutdown. Now, E06. This one here is the AC loads, power, current, has been sensed as high and is close to the shutdown. So again, that can be if you're reaching that maximum of, say, 2000 watt inverter, so you're getting close to that 2000 watt there, you'll get this E06 occur. This will occur again before the E03 occurs, which will actually shut down based on that high AC load on the system. So how do you rectify that again? Reduce some of the load. So turn off an appliance, for example. E07 is the internal temperature is high and close to shutdown. So again, this is a warning only before the E04 occurs. So E07, internal temperature high, close to shutdown. If you don't rectify this situation, an E04 of internal temperature high and shutdown will occur. E12, not happens that often, but this one here is the internal transfer switch temperature is high and shutdown occurs. This one will occur, for example, if you are plugged into AC mains and the power is bypassing and going through your inverter. This will occur if you have very high current draw for a sustained period of time and the ambient temperature is high. So again, if this one does occur, E12, just consider reducing some of the load there. Also, again, making sure you've got good ventilation around the inverter. Now, what we'll do here to simulate the system is we're actually currently inverting. So we can see there, we're in invert mode there. We've still got the air conditioning running before. We're a little bit used to nice cool office areas, so we're running the air conditioning unit. What Kane's going to do now is throw on the induction cooktop as well. As I said, we've only got a 2000 watt inverter on this one here. We'll actually see, there we go, the current's gone up quite considerably, up to about 166 amps there, 168 amps there. We're down to 11.9 volts, 187. Now, there we go. We've got the E06 there, which is saying it's high and close to shutdown. Now we've gone to E03 because we've exceeded that wattage or the current limit of the inverter and it has actually shut down. So we can do there now, we've obviously removed the current draw on the system by the inverter shutting down, therefore turning off the cooktop and air conditioning unit. So a simple way to reset it, if you have overloaded, that equipment will turn down or turn off more importantly. Just turn the inverter back on again and let's take it easy. Let's not try and run the air conditioning and the induction cooktop at once. So that's a run through of the error codes. Now, what are some other errors that can occur as well? Now, the main ones that we spoke about when we were talking about installation was ensuring your cable sizing is correct. So the most common one we always hear and see is those low voltage. So that is why it is key to run good quality circuit breakers, fuses, battery isolated switches, and adequately sized cables. And also ensure that you are running a battery bank and battery chemistry that is suitable for your inverter setup. That will obviously reduce the chances of having fault codes. Another one that we hear as well quite often with the transfer model inverters is the unit isn't operating or functioning as it should. Now, this will normally occur just after you've installed the inverter. Now, most commonly, this comes down to when you're running that cable from your inverter to your actual remote display screen, is you've either made your own cable and you've crimped it incorrectly, or the cable has been damaged from your inverter to your transfer remote display screen. This can quite often give really strange symptoms. One I saw the other day, it wouldn't actually go into transfer mode even though there was AC mains. Everything else functioned great, but what it came down to, again, was a damaged cable between the inverter and display. So always take a look at that control cable. It does throw some sort of random, not so much codes, but more so random functionality that it won't perform as it should. A great system as well that we've got on the transfer models as well, if you are doing fault finding, is we've got the IEC plugs on the side of the inverter, and that allows you to actually bypass the inverter. A little bit of a fault finding, but also if your inverter does have an issue, it will allow you to still get power to the rest of your caravan if you're plugged into AC mains. So let's take a bit of a look at that process now. So down on one of the inverter transfer models that we have here, what you'll see in most applications on caravans is they've wired it through these IEC plugs on the side here. Now, one of them is for the input and one is for output. But as I said, if the inverter for some situation has got a fault and you're just trying to fault find, or in the unlikely situation the inverter has actually failed and you've sent it off for replacement, you can still get power to the van very simply, very safely by just disconnecting these two plugs here. So this one here is the actual output one, because we've got the male pins there. This one here is the input from the side of your van, from the AC mains. And to bypass it, you simply plug the two units in. They do have to go opposing here, but if we plug those in there now, that has completely bypassed the inverter. So obviously, to have any AC power to your equipment, you will need your AC mains plugged in. However, that will then bypass all the way through the inverter. Again, just to allow your inverter to be fixed or whilst you're fault finding, nice, simple. If it's in bypass and you're still tripping an RCD on the side of your van, you know you've got an issue with the actual installation on your caravan or your four-wheel drive or your boat. However, when you put it back to normal situation, if you're having faults, that's when you can run through the error codes, or as always, give our technical service team a call at Enerdrive, or also take a look at our website and the manual for more detailed information.